What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for February 10th, 2023. We're close. We're less than 3 days from the Super Bowl. It is a Super Football Friday. Not really sure how much more I can take of this. I just need this game to get here. I am so hyped up. It's been crazy at work this week, and what's funny is usually when the weeks are busy, they fly by. This week is taking forever, absolutely forever. And on a side note, like hopefully nobody from work is hearing this, but I've been way more productive this week than I've been probably the entire year, which is crazy to say, but I've been so laser focused and just I guess that nervous energy, getting it out, and it's helped me be way more productive at work. So again, hopefully nobody from work is listening to that. But like I said, it's a football Friday, Super Football Friday. But before we get into this day, let's take a look at today's Philly Sports Black History Spotlight. Today we're going to look at Frank Tick Coleman. He was a good athlete, and his teammates noticed it, and so they nicknamed him Tick because he could get things done in the few ticks of the clock, is what they said. But he grew up in Point Breeze in the 20s. He used to go swimming in the Schuylkill because a lot of the swim clubs in the area would not allow black people to join. So just a sign of the times back then. And I'm not sure, to be honest. I know a lot of people freak out like, oh, the Schuylkill. I've actually swam in the Schuylkill when I did the Philly Try. And once you get over the initial, oh, shit, I'm swimming in the Schuylkill, it really wasn't that bad. But I wonder if it was more polluted and dirtier. I would imagine it had to have been worse back then because there weren't the regulations. But either way, he would swim in the Schuylkill because he wasn't allowed into the swim clubs. He was one of the first black Eagle Scouts when he became a freshman at Central High School. While he was at Central High, he was a quarterback. He was the first black quarterback and led them to the public league title in 1929 and 1930. Was named All City, and because it was such a huge accomplishment and a big deal, his helmet and cleats are displayed at the African American History Museum in Philly, so that's pretty cool. I've actually seen them before. It's really cool. Like, we went on a trip when I was teaching, and the kids loved it. They were just like, especially the boys, they were like, wait a minute. And like, it was actually really cool to see. So he served definitely as like an inspiration and should serve as an inspiration, which is one of the reasons I wanted to discuss him today. Upon graduation, he went to Lincoln, and he was the class president. He played football and wrestled there. And that was pretty much the extent of his athletic career. What he is most well known for and best remembered for is just what happened with the kids when he took them to the African American History Museum. He worked with the School District of Philadelphia as a youth counselor and was able to mentor a lot of black youth for over 30 years. And on top of working as a counselor in the school district, he volunteered at many youth organizations. He started many youth organizations. He raised money for underprivileged kids to have access to educational opportunities, extracurricular activities. He was just a very just big part of changing the narrative of black youth in the city of Philadelphia. So today we shout out Mr. Frank Tick Coleman. Kudos for everything you did. Thank you. You had an impact on some of the students I taught based on that. So very much a very big, important part of not only the sports history of Philly, but also just the history of Philly and all overall. So thank you. All right, Flyers update. They beat the Edmonton Oilers 2-1 last night. One of the better teams in the league. I mean, I'm done trying to figure them out. I actually watched the third period and overtime, and they're actually kind of fun to watch. And I feel like for me, and I've talked a lot on both podcasts about this, but Flyers fans are a different breed. They definitely, most of the time, Flyers fans are Flyers fans and then everybody else, where a lot of the other people who do the quote-unquote 4 for 4, they're like me. Like, I'm an Eagles, Phillies, Sixers fan, and then if there's time, I'll watch the Flyers. Like, I would much rather watch a Temple basketball game than the Flyers. But when the playoffs start, it's a different story. But I think it's just not enough time for me to watch the Flyers because it was actually pretty entertaining and fun to watch. But they won 2-1 in overtime, or in the shootout, I should say, over the Oilers. Sixers made, I don't know if it was a splash or not, but they traded Matisse Thybulle to Portland. They got Jalen McDaniels from Charlotte. There's a upgrade in offense, drop off on defense. They probably need more of that offense off the bench. I don't know. I feel like I like Thybulle, but I don't feel like he ever improved from the time they drafted him. Like, he just was the defensive guy. Never really could get that offensive line or side going. Unfortunately, both Milwaukee and Boston got better, and they're the two teams that right now are ahead of the Sixers in the standings. Not really sure what we're going to be able to do about that. Is this the end of the process? Is the end of Embiid? Time will tell. And now, when they're on, nobody can beat them. Like, that's the thing. It's just they need to play consistently. So we'll see how that works out. Going to the Super Bowl, I mean, everybody is going to be as healthy as possible. The last injury report, nobody really for the Eagles were on there. Kadarius Toney was the only one. Now, obviously, people are going to be banged up, but it is the Super Bowl. So, I mean, one, people are going to play no matter what. Two, of course, you're going to be banged up. A couple of, like, small things. There's the story about Mahomes picking the Eagles to win the Super Bowl against the Patriots in his local paper. I don't know why that's a story. I feel like that's just where we are right now. That's what's left. We're grasping at whatever we can to make a story. But there's that story. More importantly, and I definitely will be taking advantage of this, Wawa is giving away free coffee up until kickoff on Sunday. So if you didn't see that, everybody gets free coffee at Wawa up until kickoff on Sunday, as long as you're in the tri-state area. I'm not sure what they're going to do for the Wawas down in Virginia and Florida, but the ones in the Philly area, free coffee on Sunday. So be sure to take advantage of that. I'm taking off of work, so it's not going to bother me, but the school district of Philadelphia is on a 2-hour delay. I'm sure that's going to help some of the parents, I would say, but there you go with that. All right, so this day in Philly sports history, we are going to go back to 1939. So February 10th, 1939, the Dad Vail Rowing Association was developed, and it was named after Wisconsin rowing coach Henry Emerson Dad Vail. And for the longest time, I'll be completely honest, I knew all about the Dad Vail Regatta. I knew when it was. I lived down there. It was always either a fun time because you would go to it, or a pain in the ass because traffic on Kelly Drive was blocked off. Never knew that Dad Vail was an actual person. I thought it was like a company or a rowing club or something. But it was the brainchild of Penn coach Rusty Callow. And today it is the largest intercollegiate rowing event in the United States. Over 100 schools, 150 races. It's usually Mother's Day weekend, that Friday and Saturday. It's been on the Schuylkill since 1953. However, this year it is moving to Pennsauken, New Jersey, and it's going to be on the Cooper River because of the dredging project that they're doing on the Schuylkill. Almost left Philly in 2010. I remember this well. They just were running out of money. And then Aberdeen Assessment Management Company sponsored to keep it in Philly. They are a Scottish company that's got a headquarters in Philly. It's now sponsored by Jefferson. Like I said, it's fun. Sometimes it was a pain in the ass when traffic was done, but it is a Philly tradition. It's one of those things. Like I'd like to see them bring back the bike race, and it's fun to have those traditional things. I've run down there before. I've gone down to watch it. It's just a good time. But on this day in 1939, the Dad Vail Rowing Association basically created the Dad Vail Regatta as we know it today. All right, we got to get through the day. So shout out to Frank Tick Coleman. Please go check out Back to the Future if you want the Eagles Super Bowl preview. I don't necessarily give my pick, but I'm starting to get a clearer picture, a clearer vision of what I want to do and what I'm going to do with this. So be sure to check that out this weekend before the game to get your fix. We go over position by position breakdown. Like I said, huge shout out to Frank Tick Coleman. Let's get through this weekend. Go have yourselves a Friday. Go Birds. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.